Very excited for this webinar. Amanda, I suppose we'll start off nice and simple. Can you tell us about the University of Tulsa?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of disappointed there wasn't a damn pun there, Dave.
Oh, I have to
They're so
work on
good.
this.
They're so good. Yeah, absolutely. Hi everybody. The University of Tulsa, or UTulsa for short, we're a private comprehensive research university. Our total enrollment is just shy of 4,000 students. That's across undergrad, graduate, and our law program. Our students come from 49 states and more than 50 countries. Most popular majors are nursing, computer science, mechanical engineering, and actually exciting news, our petroleum engineering program was just ranked #1 among private universities in US News and World Report. That was a jump for us from #5, so we're pretty proud of that one. We have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio. Our class sizes are around 13. And we attract more national merit scholars per capita than any other university in the country. And perhaps the most important thing about the University of Tulsa is that we have the cutest canine ambassador named Goldie. She's a golden retriever.
Awesome. Thanks very much for that. Yeah. Always love seeing the photos of Goldie. They're always the highlight of the dam. Can you tell us about your role and the day-to-day of your team?
Yeah, sure. I'm situated within the Strategic Marketing and Communications Office. We're a content marketing organization, so we're focused on driving brand awareness and increasing the reputation of the university. Within our team, we're kind of divided into 3 divisions. There's the content team, that's what we're saying. Our creative team, that's how we're saying it. And then our digital team is focused on where we're saying those things, where we're putting our messages. So as creative director, I'm kind of in that second aspect, so the how, and our team maintains and protects the university brand. We do graphic design, photography, videography, and then we maintain the storage of the output of all of those things.
Yeah, I absolutely love that breakdown of it from what, how, and where. It's a great way to kind of segment the different teams. What were some of the challenges you were facing as a team prior to optimizing your creative operations? And particularly, how did you tackle those problems?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's been a long journey. I started at the university in January 2023. We had just implemented MediaValet at that time. But in January 2023, our department was suffering from a staff deficit. So coming off the pandemic, staff had shrunk, projects were paused, objectives changed. So we didn't really know what our partners across campus needed. So in order to find out, we utilized an online ticketing system to start taking requests. So those requests were then trackable. They didn't get lost in email to various team members. And we just asked people across campus, like, what marketing needs do you have? And they did not hesitate to let us know all the things they needed. So within the first 14 months of this ticketing system, we received more than 2,500 tickets. Of those, about 1,000 were web updates and things like that. And what we were left with was a variety of requests. So full marketing campaigns to flyers promoting, an event for 10 people on campus. So there was really quite a range of requests. So then what we did this past summer was we analyzed all of those requests. What type of things were people asking for? What was repeatable? What tasks were sidetracking the team from focusing on higher impact projects? We found an overwhelming amount of requests for things like flyers and digital screens, which we have screens on campus that promote events and things like that. So people love to get their messages there. Business cards, stationery, things like that. We call these things pebbles. They're high volume, they're low impact, they take a lot of bandwidth to manage, as I'm sure many people on this call are aware. So our question was, how do we remove the pebbles so that our team can focus on rocks and boulders, those bigger things that actually advance the university? How do we minimize pebbles but maintain brand integrity? So in the end, we addressed it through a self-service portal. And why I'm so excited to be here today is that that self-service portal is achievable at any scale, no matter what tools are in your toolbox.
Awesome, Amanda. Thanks so much for giving us a little background there. Can you tell us a little bit more about what your creative process looks like today? And then secondly, how that's enabling you to let other people represent University of Tulsa?
Yeah, I would love to. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to kind of walk you through this self-service portal I was talking about. Are you able to see this, Patrick? Okay, great. All right, so we implemented our self-service portal. We call it the Marketing Resources Hub on SharePoint. So the university uses Microsoft tools, so we were just working with what we have. The first thing that our users and our partners across campus come across is our brand portal in MediaValet. This has everything from writing guides, brand guidelines, all of the logos. The great thing about the brand portals too is that they're shareable with third parties. So other vendors or partners that are off campus can access this as well. We have updated photography, just beautiful campus shots. We have photos of students. The real star of the show, we have photos of Goldie. And then we just had our homecoming celebration last weekend, so we had some photos here so that people on campus could pull photos if they needed them for their promotional materials. And then we have some stationery templates and things like that here also. So we also have brand portals by college. See, we have 5 of them here, 6, 7 of them. They just keep adding up. Similar formula here. We always want to make sure that our brand guidelines are accessible no matter where the entry point is for users on the brand portal. But then we have college-specific logos here. You can see on the side a bunch of different sub-brand logos. And then we try and also include photos relevant to the college, as well as some stationery templates specific to the college as well. We also have brand portals by departments. I won't get into those, but staff departments also have their own brand portals. We allow folks to access MediaValet here. If they're new to MediaValet, they can request access here as well. Everyone wants access to MediaValet, we've learned. It's fun to be able to poke around it. And then I'm sure I'm not alone in this challenge, that we had been receiving a ton of requests for approval for promotional items, pens, t-shirts, signage, all kinds of things like that. And they weren't necessarily the quality that we would want to have the University of Tulsa brand on. So what we did with a local vendor is we created promotional item portals. So everything on this ordering portal has been through licensing. It is approved from a branding perspective. These are just clickable, ready to order, get it in a couple weeks type situation items. So we have these for the university. We're adding to them all the time. And we also have them for each college. So that has really cut down on people asking us to approve for imprint items and things like that. We have online ordering for stationery, that these links take you there. And then we have this little section that helps people create promotional items, flyers, posters, digital screens, and things like that. Our Marq users, Marq is actually only available to what we call UTulsa brand champions. Those are people across campus who serve some sort of communication or promotional function in their role. They're creating flyers for their college or things like that. It's a limited group. So not everyone has access to Marq, but we also offer Adobe Express. the University of Tulsa has a full Adobe license. So if you're a student or staff or faculty, you have access to the Creative Suite. And part of that is Adobe Express. So that's a great tool that users can, very simple instructions here. You just can access Adobe Express on the browser. And then we've created a brand palette so that they can easily pick a template and then shuffle the colors. So at least there's some brand consistency there. And then we have that ticket still in play. So if people aren't finding what they're looking for, they can go ahead and just send us a ticket and request something specific if they need to.
Awesome. I mean, you guys have done so much work, but you did mention Marq, and I know something that all of our attendees would want to see. Do you have any examples of some really popular or useful templates you're using? And can you explain kind of what makes them so useful or popular?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pop over here. So this is, yeah, Marq's fantastic. This is our MediaValet instance. So whenever we hop into MediaValet, this is what it looks like. And prior to probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had been using Marq as a separate browser platform. And MediaValet and Marq have actually integrated since then. So we congratulated ourselves for picking well that we're able to now have one front door for these things. So Marq actually integrates just through a tab at the top called templates. And when you click on it, all of our branded templates are available here. There are a lot of them, and we will continue to add to them. It's really easy to kind of narrow down what you're looking for. So I'll just show you a digital screen. This is one of our most popular templates. Like I mentioned, people want to promote their events on campus, and this is super easy. You don't have to print anything. The screens are just up all around campus. So I'll pick one just to show you. What's also really great is you can upload InDesign templates, just like your InDesign file. When you're done with it, you don't have to build anything. We'll call it a damn test.
We have to get one in.
Got to get it when you can, right? So the thing I love about this when we're talking about brand integrity is that you're able to lock down each asset, each layer here individually. So you'll see the logo is completely locked. It's in red. You can't move it. You can't delete it. You can't resize it. But some items are in yellow here, like this photo. That means it's kind of locked, but not all the way locked. So what you can do here is you can't delete it, you can't change the position, but I can, like for instance, I can change the photo. And so this integrates directly with MediaValet, so I can just search my media library here and get a photo of that lovely girl. And then same thing with the text. It's sort of locked, meaning you can't delete it and you can't, you can change the text, but you can't change the font, which is really exciting. I love that. And then you can just kind of update your details here and things like that. And then it's super easy to share. You can share it, you can download it, you can send it to print, you can do all kinds of things. But that, I love having that, love having the control that Marq allows us to have.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that people are generating content. It seems so simple. You've made it so easy for your users, and with pictures like that, how can anyone resist? Like with so many different projects and like assets being created, how have you streamlined the tagging of assets used in these campaigns, and in particular ones with people?
Oh yeah, the facial recognition feature in MediaValet is one of my favorite features. So what MediaValet allows you to do is tag people using facial recognition. And once you do that, we do it often, like we'll do monthly headshots for staff and faculty. And when we upload them, we always tag them through facial recognition, which is a super simple process. And then what it does, it actually mines the database. If you search that person's name, it mines the database and pulls any photos that they're in. So for instance, I've searched our president, Brad Carson here, and through facial recognition, and also it will read text. So that's also a fun feature. If you're looking for something, you can just type a word that might have been in a PowerPoint. I'm sure many other people have these photos in their databases. And so it's huge when we're doing web stories maybe on faculty that we want to find some photos of them teaching in a classroom or things like that. We can just search their name and it pulls up everything rather than going through like SharePoint folders or something like that. And then you can also add things, right? Like if I want President Carson looking cool, I can search for him with sunglasses, you know, if we want to get that granular. And that's just AI that MediaValet is pulling. But the facial recognition feature has been super cool for like commencement recently. We did some campaigns with graduating seniors, and because they were you know, like ambassadors for the university, we had headshots of them and they had been tagged. We were able to find photos like from early in their journey with us, like first week of school in a group headshot, right? It pulled them out of a photo of 1,000 people, and we were like, oh yeah, that was, you know, when they first started here. And you can kind of pull those. No one would know how to find those in a folder structure without that AI functionality. So that's been really huge for us.
Yeah, I can imagine the parents and the students themselves are really happy to get those kind of collages of photos, see their evolution through their college years, and really be able to access them nice and easily. You've shown us like so many different ways that you're utilizing the various platforms. Like, what impact has this new way of working had on the creative department and then on the wider University of Tulsa team?
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, our team had been weighed down by pebbles. We were kind of just getting requested to death with those low impact, high volume tasks. So one just huge thing that it has done for us is the self-serve options have really allowed us to get out of that business of the little things and freed us up to focus on the rocks and boulders. Again, those initiatives that will really help move the university forward. And then our partners across campus, I think they feel empowered to kind of move their own projects forward. So that's really exciting. And it's kind of, I mean, what we do is fun too. So it's nice to be able to share a little bit of that with everyone else. It's a fun job to have. And I appreciate being able to allow them that freedom without forfeiting the brand integrity. We feel comfortable doing things like that. And then again, ticket requests are down, which feels so amazing. It's so great when you can kind of stop having to feed that machine of the ticket requests. So yeah, it's been amazing.
Awesome. Man, you've done such a great job of showing us where you started, where you're at today. What's next for you and your team? What are the next steps for you?
We've seen great success with the initial launch of Marq, which we're about 6 months in on that. So I see us continuing to grow that and hopefully onboard some more users and continuously update templates and find new ways to use Marq. We haven't delved into the presentation feature of that, like how we can kind of get out of the PowerPoint game. So that's something to explore. And then the dam is kind of an ever-evolving beast. We recently hired a visual resources manager. That actually was a position that we had previously, but was vacant over the summer. That person, Sam, just started on Monday. So we're super excited to have someone. I'm super excited to have someone that can kind of oversee all of these things. And so I think what we'll start to do is create a playbook that puts all of these processes that we've implemented into writing, which we haven't done. And then we may look at our category structure. I think we've learned a little bit from using MediaValet for a while that we might rethink a few things.
Awesome. Now I'm going to ask the question that I know is on everyone's mind. With all the success you've had, what tips or guidance can you give to someone who's just starting out on this journey?
Yeah, so to that end of documenting your processes, do it as you go. Even if they change in the future, just write down what you're doing in a Word document or however you want to do that so that you can hand it off to someone if you have student employees or things like that. Documenting as you go, your taxonomy, things like that. I would also spend time up front on your category structure. Put in the work, don't rush into it. Don't feel like you need to launch right that minute. But also don't let it paralyze you. So don't think too hard on it. It can be changed, at least Dave, I'm hoping it can be changed since we're kind of going into that a little bit moving forward. Um, but absolutely just get going, but put a little thought into it as you go.
Yeah, I think they're great learnings, and yeah, a dam will always evolve. You'll always have new needs, as you touched on, so we can always change that. Thank you so much, Amanda. We really, really appreciate you walking us through those various workflows, some of the really exciting ways that you're leveraging the dam, Marq, and just enabling your students and colleagues throughout the university to really create some fantastic content. We'll open the floor to questions. We have one here. Do you have all your Marq templates reviewed and approved by your team?
Yes, those do go through our strategic marketing and communications team. Sorry, mouthful there. That's why we call it Marcom. So they do. We have a weekly review process, so everything we do gets reviewed by our full team.
Is there a resource for setting up categories, seeing case studies of other companies, or some sort of examples would be helpful? So, yeah, of some resources, what I'd advise is reaching out to either your implementation manager or your customer success manager. Will be able to help you in terms of what are some of the best practices that we see across various industries, and we'll be able to actually provide you some templates that can act as that base level that you can begin to grow on from there. Good question. Does everyone who has access to the unit of or the Uni of Tulsa dam also have access to templating?
No, they don't. So our user group for Marq is much smaller. And that's why we encourage people to use Adobe Express. So we kind of we're pushing all of the people who do this work often to Marq. So those are what we call our brand champions. They're doing things like this consistently. And then people who don't have a huge need for templating solutions, we'll push them to Adobe Express to see what's there. And then also we do have a few templates in like PowerPoint and things like that, which we try not to lean too heavily on. But we have a few options for people who are not in Marq.
Great answer. Does everything that your Marq users submit go through an editing and design approval? I think we kind of answered that question already.
Well, things that our Marq users submit, I'm sorry if I misunderstood the earlier question. Things that our Marq users submit, you can either allow them to not send them for approval, or you can require approval. And I'm kind of feeling this one out as we go. I had approval set on for a while, that they were required to send it for approval before they could download it, but I actually took that off recently, mostly just because my capacity for reviewing things got really thin, and it's really foolproof. Like they can't mess it up too bad. So I took that off and it's been smooth sailing. I haven't really had to flag anybody down for things I've seen on Marq.
Great question. Have you created templates in Adobe Express for your users to have access to, not just the branding kit?
No, but that's something that I would like to explore. We kind of just lobbed Adobe Express out there as an easy solution. We had a bunch of people who were purchasing Canva licenses, so Canva's kind of a dirty word around here. We have Adobe Express, so we're urging people to use that. But that is on my list, Jessica, to look into that. So if you have done that, I'd love to know more.
Awesome. There's a few more questions, but I don't think we'll have time to get through them today. So we will take them offline and get back to you with an answer on those. Um, really appreciate everyone's attention. Some great questions there. I think this was an absolutely fantastic session. Thank you to Patrick and Amanda for the great questions and the amazing walkthrough we had today. So, we love Marq and MV. That's a great way to end it, Ashley. Um, thank you very much, folks, and we'll chat to you soon.
Thank you.